Meditation is basically practicing being consciousness without doing the thing that creates separation, which is this selfing or this identifying with thoughts and the self. In the West, it isn't really known how deep meditation goes. We kind of treat it as a sort of relaxation exercise, as something that keeps you mindful and grounded. But in old Buddhist traditions, it has been known since forever that meditation is actually a very profound process of transformation within your psyche. Because what actually is going on is way more than just your mind calming down. Every moment you sit and observe the mind without identifying with thoughts, what you are doing is you're moving away from the psychological process that creates the separation between you and reality. When you stop engaging in the part of your mind that creates a story about who you are, and you just engage with sensations themselves in the present moment, you are weakening this habit of selfing, this habit of solidifying something that isn't real. When you're not good at meditating, what you notice is that most of the time trying to meditate, you're actually forcing thoughts to stay away, or you're trying to not think. And the moment you start to become somewhat skilled at meditation, not thinking thoughts becomes easier and easier. And it's quite quick that you can bring yourself into this position of peace. And then suddenly, reality feels kind of trippy. Trippy in how silent it is and how peaceful it can be. Because now the ego pattern that is being maintained through constant activity, like judging and comparing yourself to others and planning what you need to do next, or remembering what you have done and regretting it, or defending your own identity from a fight that you had. Meditation basically asks you to stop feeding into this machine. So you just sit and breathe, or you look at the wall, or you focus on any other sense object. You might even not focus on anything at all. The only point actually is in bringing yourself away from the mind. So it's like you are a whirlpool, like the mind is a whirlpool running around with thoughts and ideas about yourself and the future and existence. And then you basically make it so that it stops spinning. And for most people in their lives, and you really have to grapple with how odd it actually is, but most of us never actually realize that it is possible to make this machine stop spinning. And maybe you have had light glimpses of what it is like when you have a peaceful meditation session and you have been like for even just 2 minutes without a thought, 3 minutes without any thoughts at all. It becomes like a sensation of being sucked into reality that can be extraordinarily pleasant, like a silence and a freedom that is just, whoa, I didn't know this was possible. And this state is just the tip of the iceberg. There are way more profound states of peace and silence. So meditation reveals what is beneath the noise of the mind. And what is beneath the noise of the mind is a goddamn trip. It's a reality that is so much more fascinating than we ever recognize, because we've been so conditioned through our entire lives to believe that existence is normal and that everything that we interact with on a day-to-day basis is just how things are. And we don't stop and appreciate just how the simplest sensation that you can experience, like shadows, are amazing and require an incredibly complex process to form and then to be noticed by your experience or by your consciousness. So what then tends to happen is that when these thoughts quiet down and you are more present in awareness and in your sensations, and you're able to remove or dissolve these resistances and discomfort in your body that are usually related to thought, even if you might not think they are, they remove themselves over time by focusing on the awareness. And then the incredible thing that starts to happen is that it feels like reality has a loving quality to it. That if you exist without the narrative of a self, suddenly existence has beauty inherent to it. That the beauty of reality isn't something that we humans add on to things, but that is what remains when you start stripping our own mind away. And this kind of reverses what the ego does. The ego likes to think that this reality is somehow evil or dangerous and wicked. But it is ourselves that have these qualities. And then we project it onto reality. And by untangling all of these ego structures through this dissolving into experience, we start to notice, oh, it's actually the other way around. We are the ones projecting or creating this evil. And reality is fundamentally not even neutral, but actively benevolent, actively positive. It's just that it takes meditation skill to get yourself to a point that it becomes easy to access this. So then consciousness doesn't need to reference itself to exist. It doesn't need to have a solid self to identify I'm existing as someone experiencing a reality, but reality does this all on its own. There's no one there that needs to be aware for anything. So then each time when you lose yourself in thoughts through meditation and then you practice to move from thoughts again to these physical sensations of the body, you start to become one with reality because you start to accept reality. You start to accept the fact that yourself has been an illusion all along, that all of the pain and suffering you carry is weirdly unnecessary, that it was completely self-generated, and then these sensations that arise have these powerful qualities to them that transform not only the sensation in the moment of love and kindness or appreciation for your own experience, but they start to transform how you function, how you relate even after you're out of the state with yourself. So then when you do this often enough, the observer dissolves. So there's not somebody observing reality, but reality is observing itself. And this meditative state that you access through practicing this becomes permanent. So by training the mind to not add anything onto reality and to remove all of these beliefs and complex philosophy and metaphysical abstractions about the nature of reality, and you start to subtract all of these extra movement that the ego is actually doing to cling on to something, then you remove the separation between you and reality. It's like you start to settle water that was been disturbed, like the whirlpool, and then it becomes clear and you can see through what is actually going on. That's why when you are completely free from this ego narrative, what then tends to happen is that you meditate naturally all the time. And this is pretty much what has happened to me. It's not that I am always in this very deep absorption state where I'm constantly blissed out, but it is extremely easy for me to access this when I just sit in silence. So right now I could just sit here with you, and the moment I stop thinking and saying anything, my mind goes completely blank, and it's just extremely pleasant to just exist. Like there's no need to say anything. There's no need to do anything. I could just be like a statue all the time, and it's just peaceful. And this absorption state of mind is now something that I've trained myself to have easy access to. It's not always super easy to access, but my baseline of real life experience is always meditative. Like for me, everything I do has this nature of meditation to it. Even when I speak, even when I talk, there's always this peaceful understanding of what this experience is and this lack of separation from myself and the experience. And there's a natural absorption that has now happened that is almost impossible for me to remove. Like it's just my normal baseline now. And when I lean deeper into it, then it actually becomes quite psychedelic and joyful. So maybe I can do this in a video one day where I just stare at you like this for 2 hours. Because what usually then tends to happen is that every sensation in my experience, like wind touching my body and sensation of breath and breath. And other parts of other parts of my experience, like very little details that you normally wouldn't notice, like the sensation of touch on my skin, everything starts to feel pleasant. There's like nothing that has an unpleasant quality to it. Although I have to qualify a bit. So there might be some aspects that have maybe some unpleasant nature to it, like some tensions somewhere, but it feels like attention flows to this uncomfortable state very naturally, and there's no resistance between what is uncomfortable and comfortable. And it becomes kind of obvious that in my own experiential awareness, whatever is uncomfortable is just extremely tiny. Like just as a matter of fact, not even as some subjective perception. For example, if I now have, and this is also kind of permanent now, but in this absorption state, it's way more intense. But today I had back pain, for example, and it was quite intense. I don't know why I had so much back pain today. It was here. I just made a wrong movement and it just tear something here. Teared something there. And well, it hurt. It wasn't pleasant. But then I have so many other sensations that are going on at the same time right now, or at the same moment that the pain is happening, that the attention that focuses on the pain always has this, not even this backdrop, but this constant presence of all the other 1,000 sensations that go on in the meantime. So then, as a matter of fact basis, the pain is very little. It doesn't matter, or it's not more important or less important than anything else. I guess pain has a little bit of the quality of not wanting to be painful. You rather have no pain than pain. That's just the nature of it. But there's no layer of I don't want this to be happening. I want this to stop. Like this mental relationship to this doesn't happen. And this then manifests into all parts of the experience as, wow, experience is extremely nice. Experience is extremely pleasant. I want more of this pleasant experience. It's a sense of gratitude for being alive, a sense of gratitude for being anything at all. And yeah, it has been clearly trained through meditation, but it also has been a year-long project of introspection and self-understanding. That is also what I teach my clients and those who I coach. There's a link in the description. It's the top link that you can click on, and then you can also apply to work with me. Because a lot of this training also comes from an intellectual understanding of what you are, or to resolve the conflicts in your mind that create these tensions. Like meditation is one way to dissolve these things very directly by focusing on direct experience. But a lot of it is also dissolving the conflicts in your mind, be it past experiences, philosophical misunderstandings, psychedelic experiences that you struggle to integrate. There are many conflicts that happen in the unconscious that need to be resolved. And I don't like just the teachings that meditation will bring you all the way to dissolve these things. I am pretty certain that there's so much to be gained there by introspection and verbal communication, because oftentimes words carry so much unconscious meaning to them that when you say them, you are not realizing how much lies behind them, or what your unconscious is actually trying to communicate when it says a certain word. Like the word of fairness, for example. What does it mean for you when something is fair or when something is unfair? And yeah, then investigating that and trying to see what emotions come up and what memories come up and stuff. And then you start to realize, oh, every word that I actually use in my mind, every time I have a random thought that pops up in my head, it isn't random. It is always linked to something extremely profound. And I help people resolve these inner conflicts, and they then usually convert into the sense of connection with reality. And this then makes the meditation process and the absorption process with reality so much more pleasant.